Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and tonight we're learning that the elderly man hit by a city bus 2 weeks ago was a decorated war hero. 86-year-old James Stroupe ended up dying 9 days after the accident. News 13's Frank Crocker joins us live from the Westgate Shopping Center where it happened. Frank, you talked with Stroupe's family tonight.
Jim Stroupe was a war hero, a community activist, a loving husband and father. And his family says, even in their pain, what happened here will not affect how they remember him.
My husband was a wonderful, generous, charitable, and funny man.
He's one of those people that did the right thing without even trying.
Francie Lanius just lost her husband, Melanie Stroupe, her father.
And he was very proud, and he was very humble. If you asked him questions, he'd answer them, but he wasn't one to brag.
A lot of people remember him as a war hero, and I'll just remember him as my dad. My dad was a lot of things. He was a soldier, which I think most people know about his military career. He was a wonderful father and a wonderful husband. He was born in 1923. He was the youngest of 11 children, and my grandparents were sharecroppers. When he turned 18, he decided to join the Merchant Marines because he wanted to see the world. And it was right around the time World War II started. So that's when he began his military career. He actually served in World War II and Korea and Vietnam. For over 32 years, he served our country.
Merchant Marines, and then the Army. So these are some of the different awards that he got. And sincere appreciation for 100% professional performance as the Infantry Battalion's Command Sergeant Major. This is Jim in the picture. And this one I love because this was before we were married, and we took a trip to Charleston, and we had a fabulous time going to Charleston for a few days.
But I didn't really realize how strongly my dad felt about my mother until she started to grow ill. And she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and had a very, very long journey. They knew he'd come every mealtime and that he would stay with her. And he was so devoted to her until the very end. My dad, the career soldier who never cried in his whole life, I saw him cry every day for those 3 years.
He was a caregiver probably about the last 10 years of Gisela's life, and they kept her at home until the last 4 years when it was not good for her. But then he was at the nursing home twice a day. I just admired his loyalty. So I just admired him so much.
It's hard to describe what my dad's death means to me. I'm an only child. I'm not married. I don't have any siblings. My mom passed away, so he really was my last immediate family member. He was never comfortable with a cell phone, so I kept a home phone, and he called me pretty regularly on my home phone. So even now when that home phone rings, I think it's him, and I think for a second, oh, it's him, and it isn't ever going to be him again. And I think we had more time. We really did.
I was sure he lived to be 100. I mean, he didn't smoke, he didn't have bad habits. He was very active. He did, he went out every day. He would find a reason to go.
It's easy to discount somebody in their mid-80s and say, you know what, they had a full life, they had a complete life. But he still had plans, he still had things that he wanted to do. Even little things, they had built a surrogate family of friends, if you will, and they socialized all the time. I think she really opened him up to things that, even in his 80s, that he had never experienced before.
Jim was so actively involved, from saving the magnolia tree downtown to my girls. My parents lived in Nebraska, which is far away and very expensive to travel to. Jim just became like a surrogate grandfather to them. The loss to the community in general has been devastating to so many families and so many people.
I still feel totally shocked about that. A man that lived through World War II, Korean War, 2 tours of Vietnam, taking care of his wife, and then to get hit by a bus. And then the fact that the people on the bus saw Jim, the people in the store saw Jim, but the bus driver didn't see him. It was a moment of distracted driving. He had future plans. He had been receiving counseling for PTSD just this past year. That was something in World War II that typically did not do ever. It wasn't encouraged then, of course. It was encouraged to go have a drink. He had seen such atrocious things that he never had a good night's sleep. And he would get terrible chills, debilitating, like paralyzing chills. And that was also from post-traumatic stress disorder. And he told the doctor he wanted to do that for me.
He also had so many things yet to offer and to teach people and to emulate. I know that everyone that saw him, he really touched their lives, and he died right before Veterans Day, and one of the things he had planned was to go to one of the schools and to talk about his experience as a vet.
Honest as the day is long, always kind, always had a joke. His character was steadfast in doing the right thing, showing compassion for others. Jim lived his life with that voice in the back of his head telling him always to do the right thing.
But it's still hard. I miss him every single day. You know, he was just a treasure, a good man, dressed well, knew how to treat women, old school manners. He was easy to love. It was real easy to love, and I did love him. You don't find them every day.